Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The City of Belleville acknowledges at the meeting today we are meeting on traditional territory of many nations. We recognize and honor the historic relationship of Indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within them. We recognize all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path towards reconciliation and show respect for the Indigenous peoples who first lived and currently live on this land where we all now reside together. Please remain standing for a moment of reflection from Deputy Clerk Katie McPherson.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only with what will promote good government. May we bring to council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Please be seated. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Attendance, Councillor Kelly is away on city business. I need approval of minutes of the council meeting held on May 25th, 26. Be approved. Moved by Councillor Sue, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. We start with the lunch of correspondence tonight. First is a recommendation that the request from Jordan Shortt, HBS Property Maintenance, located at 552 Ashley Street, Foxborough, requesting the closure of an Ashley Street from Mudcat Road to Dissette Road on July 1st, 2026 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. To allow for a community fireworks display be approved. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Carr. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Second, again, recommendation that the request for the Belleville District DBIA for street closures and use of city sidewalks and parking spaces for the following events: Downtown at Dusk, June 19th, Caribbean Festival, August 15th, Blues Festival, September 12th, and Enchanted in the District, November 21st. Be approved. Moved by Councillor Sue, Councillor Wright Miller. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Second, from the DBIA, we have a request that the Belleville District BBI for waiving the provision contained in Schedule J of bylaw number 206-140, a bylaw to license and regulate the governance of certain businesses, prohibiting refreshment vehicles from operating within the downtown business improvement area, be approved for the following events: Downtown Dusk, June 19th, Caribbean Festival, August 15th, and Enchanted in the District, November 21st. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Any discussion? Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. I noted that in the request that the BIA sent in, they had included the Blues Festival, but the recommendation is excluded, and I wondered if somebody could explain why it's been excluded.
I think that would go to our acting clerk.
I would imagine at this point it is a typo and we can include it.
So do we need an amendment to make sure that it is included? I just want to make sure that it wasn't excluded for some other purpose.
Yes, so amendment to include the Blues Festival? What your amendment was? Yes. Moved by Councillor Brown, second by Councillor Chanton. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Back to the original motion. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Brown. Petition. Expedite the installation of sewage mains and water pipes in the area being omitted in the West Belleville Loyalist secondary plan. Petition. Water and sewer certain areas of the west side of Belleville. Recommendation that the petition, the installation of sewage mains and water pipes in areas being omitted in the West Belleville Loyalist Plan be received and referred to staff for a report. Moved by Councillor Henderson, seconded by Councillor Wright Miller. Discussion. Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, through your worship. Just wanted to take a minute because several years ago I did bring this forward in a previous council about Bridge Street West and Marshall Road. Now, for many people don't realize where Marshall Road is. I'm sure we all do, but there are people watching at home that aren't. Marshall Road is actually somewhat of an extension of Bridge Street West. Bridge Street West becomes Marshall Road by a corner, and Marshall Road continues on to Waiver Street West. Now, Marshall Road and other areas were annexed by the City of Belleville from Sydney Township around 1998. A few years back, as I mentioned, I received a similar petition delivered to my house asking for municipal sewage in a neighboring area. There are City of Belleville homeowners who have no water in this area, and they also have struggling septic systems. And struggling, what I mean by when I say this is that they are getting close to the end of their life. And residents have been patiently waiting for municipal services that seem to be planned for areas around them, but never for them. Septic systems are a huge expense for these residents, and failing systems can leach harmful contaminants into the local environment, which can then in turn affect groundwater. There, believe it or not, are residents on Bridge Street West and Marshall Road that have to pay thousands of dollars to have truckloads of water brought in because they do not have a functioning well, and they cannot put one in due to inadequate groundwater to supply an actual well. In fact, we also have residents, I believe they're either on Marshall or Bridge Street West, that have to take a gym membership out just so they can have access to a shower because, again, they have no water. So basically, the residents leave their home for the simple luxury of being able to clean themselves, which I think is really unacceptable in urban city limits of Ward 1 in Belleville in 2026. We have services and subdivisions planned to be constructed around Marshall Road with no immediate plan for the residents of Marshall Road. We have a rural Ward 2 area in the village of Point Anne receiving city-supplied water, and I wonder why Marshall Road should be treated any differently. I brought the same matter up I think it was about 7 years ago now, and we're nearing a decade later, and still not one municipal service for a resident on Marshall Road and Bridge Street West. Now, we do need to look into this. Something has to change. They've been waiting very patiently and quietly for the last several years. One individual, about 28 years, he's been waiting to have services brought into his home and does not have them. So I just wanted to bring this up in correspondence today because this petition arrived at my home. But I do, I understand that we're going to be referring it to staff for a report, and I'll be waiting for that. And depending on what that report says, I may be bringing forth a motion or a notice of motion in the future based on what the staff report indicates. So that's it. Thank you.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on the situation. We have some spectators here today that live on Marshall Road, and I spoke to them a number of times about the situation, and they've come in and talked to Steve. I've talked to Steve Ashton, Director Steve Ashton, about it. Steve, if you could sort of give us an idea of some of the roadblocks or what the future may lie for these people, because as Councillor Henderson says, one of the couples that are here have been waiting 28 years for sewer and water. I know one person put a new septic system in 2 years ago, a raised septic system, and that's the legal part now, and $20-some thousand to put that in. So, Steve, if Director Ashton, can you sort of give us an idea of where it could possibly fit in the connection? I know it's always a concern about the connection. In a short idea of where we really stand in possibility of ever getting sewer and water on Marshall Road. Also, they're talking about Avonlow Road, but Marshall Road has been the most outspoken for me anyways on getting water and sewer out there. So, Dr. Ashton?
And I guess, Director Ashton, I don't know if that's a question that may be unfair because we're waiting for a report back to you, but if you can answer at high level, that's fine. If not, we can wait for your report.
Well, from
Yeah,
a
that's
high,
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so through you to Councillor Thompson. So the engineering section has out for tender one of the contracts, which would be for the Avonlow sewage pumping station and conveyance system construction. So that would be sort of the engine that would sort of allow the larger area to be serviced. And then there would be a number of steps, like very large steps involved in that infrastructure planning. There would be trunk sewers to be installed from the Avonlow sewage pumping station, one on Avonlow to Moira Road West. Then there'd be another one through the Potters Creek North development to the corner of Bridge Street West and Marshall Road. So these sort of things would be future city projects that would flow the gravity back to the pump station to get pumped down to the treatment center. We would have installation of trunk and local sanitary sewers on Bridge Street West and on Marshall Road and Moira Road, so that also is in the future. So it's sort of like the pump station and the conveyance system is the first step. And it's a very complex engineering sort of focus, so.
Thank you, Councillor Ashton. So the one point I want to make, and it was the couple that's here, the thoughts was once the pumping station was in, that was it. But that's the first step, is the pumping station, right?
Yes, the pumping station, and then the expansion of the pumping station, its services sort of in a...
And
yeah.
how long before the projected for the pumping station to be installed? 1 year, 2 years?
Well, we do have a tender out now, so
Yep.
it'll depend on the success of
Okay.
those documents coming in, and 2 years if everything went well.
Okay, thank you. And I know I put it in a bit of a predicament, but I think you answered it very well. Thank you, Director.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, motion to go to a staff report then. All in favor? Carried. Correspondence dated June 4th, 26 from Southeast Health Unit. Recommendation of the correspondence dated June 4th, 26 from the Southeast Health Unit. West Nile virus preparedness and prevention plan 2026 with respect to carrying out mosquito larvicing activities to prevent the control of West Nile virus is deemed necessary and supported and approved. Moved by Councillor Sue, seconded by Councillor Thompson. All in favor? Carried. I need a motion to go committee of the whole at 4:13 p.m. with Councillor Chatton in the chair. Moved by Councillor Enright Miller, Councillor Thompson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, so the agenda shall include under reports items that warrant individual attention from council. 8A1, physician agreement revisions. The recommendation reads that the manager of physician recruitment and retention report MPRR 2026-07 regarding the potential for revisions to the physician service agreement template be received. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Sue. Any discussion? Councillor Carr?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the insight that the primary care recruitment manager provided in here, and I can, certainly accept the rationale as to not limiting the medical service agreements to Healthcare Connect or retiring practices. It seems that we'll probably get better traction if we leave that out, so I appreciate that. Through you, Madam Chair, my question to the manager is, do we have any idea how many Belleville residents have been connected to primary care in the past 3.5 years as a result of the city's recruitment efforts?
Could I ask the manager to respond? Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr, I did receive some numbers from Ontario Health, and they have advised, the only numbers they were able to provide to me was as of January 1st, 2025, to April 30th, 2026, 2,353 Belleville residents were assigned to a family physician. They detailed which family physicians had taken patients from Healthcare Connect, and they were all family physicians that have come through our program. They also confirmed that currently there are just under 1,000 Belleville residents on the Healthcare Connect list.
Thank you, Manager Post.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And that's good to see that there's some data related to those connections, and it doesn't surprise me that the Healthcare Connect numbers are low. Again, that's a provincial responsibility to get the message out there that that is a functional list that serves the resident well, serves the community well in terms of drawing off that list, and clearly that's the barometer that the province is using as part of their Ontario Primary Care Action Plan. Just as a reminder to Council, the Ontario Primary Action Plan has seen $4.4 million in 2025 and another $2.6 million in 2026 for local investment to the Hastings Prince Edward Ontario Health Team towards meeting the provincial goal that every resident in the area is to be connected to primary care by 2029. I've been here for a while, and certainly municipalities, we used to fight downloading from the province quite vigorously, and now we seem to either invite it or in some cases actually duplicate provincial jurisdictional responsibility programs. Given that the Ontario Primary Care Action Plan investments to date and planned future funding are there, I certainly don't think that we should be in the business of buying doctors, given the fact that we do have limited funds and we find it harder and harder to meet our budget responsibilities as a municipality. However, if it's the will of the majority of council, then council, I think, really needs to strengthen the agreement expectations and reporting requirements to demonstrate to residents that the goals are being achieved. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is the goal? Is it simply recruiting primary care providers, or is it actual patient connection to that recruited primary care provider? And certainly we know what the province goal is, and if we're going to have a duplicate program, then we should meet those same expectations. So what I'd like to do, Madam Chair, is actually make an amendment to the motion to, in addition to receiving it, that staff prepare amendments to the medical service agreements for council's consideration and include the following: roster minimum of 800 patients for nurse practitioners and 1,200 for medical physicians. That the primary care provider under contract with the city shall provide quarterly reporting of patient rostering until minimum roster totals are met, after which annual reporting will be required for the duration of the medical service agreement, and only roster patients with a home address in the city of Belleville. Now, signing, and if I could get a seconder for that, I'll speak to that.
I was just going to say, if you could give a copy of that to...
I will.
Thank you.
Yep.
So seconder, that's Councillor Henderson. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So on that amendment, so signing primary care providers without tracking patient rostering in a lot of ways is like retail politics without the results. If we're going to use municipal funds, they need to have quantifiable return on that investment. And the rostering minimums that I've outlined in this amending motion are the same numbers that the Ministry of Health is using for expectations in meeting funding provisions within the Primary Care Action Plan. So when they've allocated money out to the Hastings Prince Edward Ontario Health Team, there's expectations in terms of those organizations within the health team, whether they be family health teams or doctor offices independent, if they're receiving that money from the Ministry of Health under the Primary Care Action Plan, then they have to provide quarterly reporting on rostering to make sure they're achieving that. So I think at the very least, we should be looking for the same. Also, so on the rostering minimum, is what they have. And then in addition to that, the quarterly reporting is also what these organizations are doing to the Ministry of Health. So again, the City of Belleville should have the same expectations given the use of public funds. And finally, regarding only rostering patients with a home address in the City of Belleville, and I think that's important. And I know Council's received just a copy of the Medical Services Agreement. In Clause 7, the second sentence, it says the medical student agrees that during the term of this agreement that they shall use their best efforts to roster only patients who have home addresses in the City of Belleville, and unless otherwise the city agrees. And to me, best efforts isn't enough. The same way as the Ministry of Health is funding the Ontario Health Team here in Hastings Prince Edward, they're doing that rostering based on postal codes, so the address actually has to match. So for example, if you're in Prince Edward County, then you're attached within Prince Edward County, not in Belleville. And so we need to strengthen that up as well. And with respect to the reporting, and as I was thinking about this, we have our grant committee, which has a number of different streams. And we have nonprofit organizations that are to provide reports on how they expended public funds. The maximum total for a grant to a nonprofit organization is $10,000. And the reporting that they provide back at the end of the year is probably around 6 to 8 pages of content as to how they use that public funds. The medical service agreements are $150,000, considerably more money, and to ensure that we're actually having the need met through actual rostering and connection with the resident is key. So I don't think this is a stretch to firm this up a little stronger. And again, today's amending motion 2 is not to agree to those clauses, but simply have staff draft those for council's consideration another time. So I'll leave that there, and Madam Chair, I just request a recorded vote on the amendment, please.
Councillor Carr has asked for a recorded vote. Oh, sorry, Mayor?
I have no issues with the amendment. The only part is rostering patients that live within our borders. I know that we've had, I believe, 3 doctors, and I can ask the manager of physician recruitment, that have taken existing practices. And I just wonder how we could work around that and existing practices to say to the existing doctor saying, you know, I'm giving my whole practice of 3,000 patients to so-and-so that's signing, but I'm going to exclude 400 patients. That might not even close the deal of taking the practice. So I'm glad that you mentioned at the end we could discuss this once the changes are made to be changed. And I think that's something that we'd have to consider, and maybe in that amendment we could put up to council's discretion or something like that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Did you want to respond to that, Councillor Carr, at all? No? Okay, thank you. So recorded vote, please.
Could I ask that the amendment be read back for me, please?
That staff prepare amendments to the medical services agreement for council's consideration and include the following. Roster minimum of 800 patients for nurse practitioners and 1,200 for medical physicians. Primary care provider under contract with the city shall provide quarterly reporting of patient rostering until minimum roster totals are met, after which annual reporting will be required for the duration of the medical service agreement. And number 3, only roster patients with a home address in the city of Belleville.
If I could ask one more question.
Go ahead, Mayor.
See the manager here. I just wonder if you could give us an update on when you figure that you would have the physician shortage fixed or enough doctors recruited, just looking out in the next couple of years, what those numbers are.
Through the chair to Mayor Ellis. From the outset of this council, sort of our best calculation was that we needed 30 new family physicians, both to clear the orphan patient roster as well as to take on the patients of physicians we expect to be retiring in the next 5 years. We are at 25, so I believe we need another 5 physicians. And I believe we will have that in the next year.
Thank you, Manager Post.
Councillor Thompson, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question on the reporting. So you're wanting the nurse practitioners and the doctors doing an annual report, semi-annual report? If I get some clarification, because I'm concerned about putting workload on doctors that are preparing reports.
Councillor Carr, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thank you. Just for clarification, so the expectation from the Ministry of Health right now for family health teams, family health organizations, or independent physicians that are receiving money as part of the Ontario Primary Care Action Plan are required to provide quarterly reporting to the ministry on their rostering numbers. And what I'm suggesting in this amendment is once they've hit that total, because there is a 5-year commitment to practice in the municipalities a return of service, that once they do it quarterly till they meet their rostering expectations, after which they will report annually. So this is not burdensome. This is something that's done. Records are electronic, and it's quite easy for these organizations to provide that, considering they're providing it to the ministry already.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions, discussion? Councillor Enright Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would think that reporting would be an easy task if we provided them with some sort of framework. And this would not be a retroactive on any current contracts we have. This would just be a moving forward amendment, I would suspect.
I'll just ask for clarity on that. Councillor Carr, that's your proposition?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, anything further? Councillor Carr, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question with respect to the response that the mayor received on achieving, I guess, our 30 family physicians, or I'll say primary care practitioners, because nurse practitioners would fall within that. If we're 5 short, I'm just wondering how our totals add up. I got to ask the question, how our totals are adding up to what's being done with the Hastings Prince Edward Ontario Health Team and the funding that they're receiving from the Ministry of Health with respect to the Ontario Primary Care Action Plan. So if the 5 that we achieve, does that mean that the region is now satisfied and therefore we're going to carry the water of the province? Is this a combination effort? I guess I'm confused because right now we've got parallel processes and, we're sitting here not within provincial jurisdiction of healthcare. So are we solving this with that number, or is it a combination of both, or we're just going to, we think our numbers are therefore correct and we've resolved it, and then if the ministry provides more, then that's great. I'm just a little confused as to where we're going here.
Manager Post, if you could maybe shed some light on that.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr, those are great questions, difficult to answer. We're always sort of trying to hit a moving target. I believe that our processes are parallel, but I think our numbers will resolve the issue. Where the Ontario Health Team will get their physicians from to staff their facilities that they've been funded for is a good question. I suspect they will draw them from the local physician community. So, yeah, I do believe there are still 5 new physicians required.
If I could, Manager Post, just a quick question. Do you actually receive any metrics reports from the province, given that this is the provincial? Do they give you any feedback from where they stand? Have they given you any information that can come back to the public that we can disseminate to this region?
With regard to how their project is moving forward? Or
no, sort of how they're relying on us to fix the problem.
I would say that they have never said they are relying on us to solve their problem. They are touting the success of their programs for having reduced the orphan patient numbers, even though they have yet to roster any patients in any of their new funded facilities, because those facilities are not up and running yet. So the reduction in the orphan patient list is solely as a result of the city's recruitment efforts. So I guess the short answer is no, they have not provided that information.
Thank you. And just an acknowledgement again, solely your efforts. You are so unbelievably appreciated for the work that you do and for the doctors that you have convinced to come to our region. And I just want to thank you for the work that you've done.
That's very kind. Thank you. It does take a village,
yes,
for sure.
Certainly. Okay, any other questions? Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll go to a recorded vote, please.
Councillor Carr?
Yes.
Councillor Chatton?
Yes.
Councillor Enright Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Henderson?
Yes.
Councillor Sue?
Yes.
Councillor Thompson?
Yes?
Councillor Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
The motion is carried.
The motion is carried. Thank you. Moving into 8A2, Administrative Monetary Penalty System, AMPS, Operational Implications. The recommendation reads that pursuant to the Manager of Bylaw Enforcement's report, MBE 2026-06, Administrative Monetary Penalty Systems, AMPS for short, operational implications, council approved the implementation of AMPS for parking enforcement within the city of Belleville, and that staff bring forward the required policies and bylaws for council's consideration. Could I get a mover and a seconder, Councillor Thompson and Councillor Enright Miller? And any discussion? Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Councillor Thompson, sorry. I have to excuse myself from 8A3. I do have a conflict of interest for this one, the Belleville Agricultural Society. I'll just step out so that can be taken care of by Chair Thompson. Sorry, I would have asked you.
Councillor Chatton has declared conflict of interest on 8A3, so Belleville Agricultural Society, new site, digital sign budget amendment.
I move as read, Chair.
Okay, seconder for that? Councillor Carr? Boy, that's... Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. 8A4, Community Improvement Plan Extension Request for 7 Aldersgate Drive. Recommendation reads that pursuant to Principal Planner Report PP 2026-08, Council deny the request for a 1-year extension to the existing Community Improvement Plan, approval for 7 Aldersgate Drive, Belleville for utilization of Program 3 Affordable Rental Housing Tier, and that if the Community Improvement Plan application deadline of July 11th, 2026 is not met by the applicant, staff will reallocate the amount of $618,000 from the Community Improvement Plan Reserve Fund to Tax Stabilization Reserve Fund. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Enright Miller, and seconded by Councillor Sue. Any questions? Councillor Thompson?
You know, this is a very touchy situation here because we got an organization that's willing to provide subsidized housing for so many people, and we've talked about this over the years, that we need to make sure there's subsidized housing out there for the people we do it. So if we turn down this request for $618,000, does anybody know if we turn it down, this project will not go ahead? Can anybody answer that? If nobody can answer that, then I definitely going to vote against it, because I definitely cannot see us wanting to turn down subsidized housing, because we know the county can't build them fast enough, the private sector can't build them fast enough. So if we got an organization that's willing to put their place on the line to provide some housing, I'm going to vote against turning this down. Thank you.
If I could actually call for Director Ashton to speak to that, please.
So the project is currently under construction right now, and I think they're requesting the year extension to allow for completion of the project.
Could I just ask, is the principal planner, Austin McMillan, would she like to speak to this at all? To give some clarity on it? Would you mind? Thank you.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
Thank you. Do you have any specific questions for me that I can help to provide clarity on?
Please,
Well,
Councillor Thompson, yeah.
Yeah, my main question was, if we approve this to not give them the $618,000 or not extend the deadline, that's what we're looking, what will happen with this project? Will it stall it? Will it go ahead? What's your thoughts there?
As far as through you to Councillor Thompson, as far as I understand, the building permits, the building is being constructed right now, and we checked with the building inspector, and he said that he expected that it would be completed within the year. I have not confirmed with the applicant whether or not this will affect their ability to fund the project. However, as we talked about in the report, they did say that, there wasn't an anticipation that the development charge exemptions would occur in 2022. So effectively, there's, a difference there of over $600,000 that the applicant wouldn't have accounted for at the time as well.
So they received 600 and some in development charge relief,
$1.3 million.
and they got that after we had promised the 618,000?
Yes, in 2024. So Bill 23 was introduced in 2024 prior to the extension that, or the extension request was occurring. And so that's why staff at the time recommended that the CIP funding reflect the changes that they anticipated the DC charges would apply to.
Thank you. If you don't mind just hanging out for
Yeah,
just a
of course.
second, Councillor Brown?
If I read correctly in the report, this is not the first extension, but rather the second time the organization has requested an extension. Could I just ask the director to confirm that for me, please?
Yes, it's in 2022, they got the approval, the extension in here it is, first extension, July 11th, 2024, and then the expiry date is July 11th, 26.
If I may, then I guess before, I'd like to understand better what seems to be the inhibitor to being able to make the deadlines that the organization themselves are indicating are achievable. Like, is it the
I can
contractor,
ask-
those kinds of things? So I guess I would direct that back to Director Ashton as well, if I may.
Well, I'd kind of like to know if the planner would know that, the principal planner would know the answer to that question. Could you word it again, please?
So I just want to understand, so they've already requested from 2022 an extension in 2024, and then now they're asking for another extension into 2027, if I have that correct. So my question is, what has been the inhibitor to the project being able to come to conclusion? If I may, I'd really like to hear from the director, if I could, as opposed to the planner on the recommendation for CIP.
Director Ashton?
So we do have some letters we could look at, but essentially I think it's just mobilization of the work through their contractors and subcontractors. Probably took longer than they thought would take for it to be completed.
Councillor Henderson?
Thank you, and this is sort of less of a technical question, just more of an interest question. When I was on council last time, I do believe, unless I'm thinking of a different project, was this for seniors, this project?
Yes.
Is it still for seniors?
Yes.
It is for seniors. Okay, so 55 plus, 60, do we know?
I'm not sure what the age range is,
Okay,
but
it is definitely a seniors development?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mayor?
So I guess to probably, whether it would be to Director Ashton or Principal Planner, if we do turn this down, or if we do pass it and it's extended for a year, am I reading the report right, or explain that there really be no more money coming because of the $1.3 million of development fees waived, as opposed to what they're getting under the community improvement plan? Am I making sense there?
So this was approved under the old community improvement plan. So there's a reserve that finance is set up to address the tax increment equivalency grant is the acronym. They have already applied for their building permit, have not, the development charge was not applicable under the legislation. So I would have to confirm with our finance director, but I believe that's part of now the development charge reserve through the general tax rate. If you can correct that.
Director of Finance, if you could answer, thank you.
Yeah, through the chair to all of council, in 2024, when the exemption occurred, it was waived by the city, so it was incurred the waiver costs within the 2024 financial results for the DC fee waiver for that project.
Mayor?
So I guess if I'm doing the math right, that would be 1.3 million plus the 600,000, like would be over 2 million. But the other was over 10 years, was it, or 5 years in the report, something like that?
It's 5 years, right? 10 years. It is, sorry, it is over 10 years. So we have the reserve set up and then we pay it out over 10 years.
And so what would that amount be? It would be the DCs, which were waived, plus it would be the community improvement plan. So if both were received, what would it be monetary-wise?
So they have basically they have received the 1.3 million for the DCs, and then over the next, upon completion and reassessment by MPAC, the 10-year tax grant payouts will occur.
Okay.
Any further questions, comments? Ask for a recorded vote.
Councillor Chatton?
Sorry, there's one more question. My apologies. Councillor Carr?
Sorry, no more questions, but since it's a recorded vote, I want to just make a comment on this, just to get it on the record. Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act, and I know I've talked about it several times, was actually introduced in 2022. And so this allows for that development charge exemption, which increases the amount of relief that this project gets. Staff are clearly outlining the fact that by denying the request, the exemption for the DCs are still there. It's just the other money now will go back into that reserve account. So they're actually getting more relief under this program. Now, the other issue we have here is we're shortchanged as a municipality, and that's been said many times here, and I know I've said it, and I'm actually going to bring it up again in new business, because here's a prime example where the province passes legislation, and as a result, and it says right in the report here very clearly that the development charge exemption for this project was just over 1.3 million, so a lot more, and that's because of that provincial bill. Staff confirmed with Finance Department that the recovery of the development charge exemption for this development was funded by general taxation, water, and wastewater user rates. All three are impacted simply because, again, the municipal user and the municipal taxpayer is shortchanged based on Bill 23. We did write the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing back on March 2nd. The clerk did. I've got the report here, or sorry, the letter here. We've received confirmation, the city has, that MPP Breezy and MPP Allsop have received it. And the city also received an automatic confirmation that it was received in the minister's office. Yet, we haven't received, or the city hasn't received, a formal response. So I would encourage other organizations such as Aldersgate and residents as a whole to contact our MPPs and make it quite clear that the provincial government through these housing bills are shortchanging. So in the end, for this project, we're not denying them relief. The relief is there. There is the tax relief that will come when it's built. And in addition to that, there is the development charge exemption, which now falls under Bill 23. And so staff are simply looking at a recalculation and the fact that now additional difference will be referred back to a reserve account. So this still proceeds, just simply math more than anything else. But here is a prime example where the municipality and the municipal taxpayer is being shortchanged based on those housing bills.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Any further? Okay. We'll go with the recorded vote, please.
Councillor Chatton?
Just to be clear, yes, I am voting to deny the request for the one-year extension because it's kind of awkward wording. So I just want to be clear. Yes, I'm voting to deny the one-year extension.
Councillor Enright Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Henderson?
Yes.
Councillor Sue?
Yes.
Councillor Thompson?
No.
Yes.
Councillor Brown?
Yes.
Councillor Carr?
Yes.
Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. 8A5, sanitary servicing agreement for 22 Town Center Drive. The recommendation reads that a bylaw to approve and authorize a sanitary servicing agreement between the Corporation of the City of Belleville and the property owner of 22 Town Center Drive be prepared for council agenda June 8th, 2026. Oh, sorry, consideration. I was reading the head note. My apologies. For consideration. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Brown. Any questions or commentary? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. I'll go around the table for the consent items. Are there any of the list that you would like to pull? Councillor Thompson?
No, thanks.
Councillor Carr?
No, thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Councillor Sue?
No, thank you.
Councillor Henderson?
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown?
No, thank you.
Mayor Ellis?
No, thank you.
That in mind, could I get a mover and a seconder for all items under consent items, 8B1 through to 8B4? Councillor Thompson and seconded by Councillor Sue. All in favor? That is carried. On to 8C, we only actually have one, so I won't go around the table. 8C3A, bylaw 2026-077, a bylaw to exempt certain lands identified as Block 9, Registered Plan 21M-333, City of Belleville, County of Hastings, from Part Lot Control, Section 55 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, issued pursuant to delegation of authority bylaw number 2025-177. Could I get a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Councillor Henderson, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. Any questions? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Just need a rise and report motion for, thank you, Councillor Enright Miller, and seconded by Councillor Sue. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried.
Thank you, Councillor Chatton. Bylaws. Bylaws number 2026-078, 79, 80, 81, 82 be read and passed. Moved by Councillor Thompson, Councillor Enright Miller. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. New business. Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mayor. Just spoke on it just a few minutes ago, but I had already had a plan to speak under new business. Back on March 2nd, the clerk wrote, as per the direction of council, to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding the fiscal impacts of housing bills between 2023 and 2025. And my memory serves me correct, I believe the staff report indicated that there was a short change in incurred revenue from the municipality as a result of these housing bills at approximately $7.2 million. And of course, as development continues and these exemptions occur, then obviously that continues to rise. And as I said under debate earlier, the city did receive an automated response from the minister that it was received and also confirmed by both MPP Breezy and Alsop. Given what we heard today, and like I said, I see it continuing, I'd like to actually make a motion that the mayor write a letter to the Premier, to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, as well as our MPPs, Breezy and Allsap, sharing the staff report, APS-2026-04, and request that the municipality be reimbursed for these costs.
Moved by Councilor Carr, second by Councilor Brown.
Thank you, through you. Councillor Enright Miller and I would like to ask for a staff report on the feasibility of acquiring the Bell Creek land from the developer, Hanley Park Developments, for eventual development of a resident-enjoyed ecological preserve. We would like options to include the idea of a land swap, land trust, as well as any other potential funding models. And we would appreciate this report, if possible, by the July 27th or August 10th meeting. And back to
Thank you, Councillor
Miller.
Henderson. Just to add to that, we also have information that we will provide to staff about other municipalities that have encountered such a thing and the roads they have gone down to do a land trust or swap. So happy to provide that to staff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else under new business? Seeing none. Motions, Councillor Enright Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a notice of motion, and I'm pleased to rise today to support and bring forward the nomination of Councillor Sean Kelly, who is not with us tonight, for a position on the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, Small Urban Caucus for the 2026-2028 term. AMO is the organization that represents municipalities across Ontario and serves as a strong advocate with the provincial government on issues that affect our communities. Through its board of directors and various caucuses, AMO ensures that municipalities of all size have a voice in shaping provincial policy and funding priorities. The Small Urban Caucus specifically represents municipalities like ours, communities that are neither large metropolitan centers nor rural townships. Small urban municipalities face unique challenges, including infrastructure renewal, housing availability, economic development, public transit, healthcare access, and sustainable growth. The caucus provides an important forum to bring these issues forward and advocate for practical solutions that meet the need of our residents. Having representation on the Small Urban Caucus benefits not only our municipality in our region, but it also provides direct access to discussions on provincial policy, strengthens municipal advocacy efforts, and helps ensure that the voices of small urban communities are heard when decisions are being made. Councillor Sean Kelly has consistently demonstrated dedication to municipal service, thoughtful leadership, and a commitment to building strong relationships within the municipal sector. I am confident that he will represent our community and other small urban municipalities effectively, bringing valuable insight and experience to the caucus table. For these reasons, I respectfully ask that Council support this motion and encourage a seconder to join me in endorsing Councillor Kelly's nomination to the AMOS Small Urban Caucus for the term 2026-2028 term.
Okay, second by Councillor Chatton. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Councillor Kelly thanks you.
I know.
Announcements. Councillor Sue.
Through you, His Worship, thank you. I would like to take this moment to recognize the outstanding success of the County Cricket Club's recent 3-day cricket tournament. It was truly inspiring to see more than 500 people come together to celebrate sport, culture, and community. The tournament welcomed participants and visitors from across the region, creating a positive economic impact for local businesses, restaurants, and accommodations here in Belleville. I was pleased to attend the final match and award ceremony alongside His Worship the Mayor, Alice. This event showcased not only exciting cricket competition, but also the rich cultural diversity that makes our community stronger. Families and friends gathered together enjoy delicious food, including offerings from Lala Masala, while sponsors and volunteers work together to create a welcoming and memorable experience for everyone. What impressed me most was the spirit of giving demonstrated throughout the event. In addition to bringing people together, the organizers also raised the funds for support of Belleville General Hospital and Children's Healthcare, making a meaningful contribution to our community. I would like to extend my sincere congratulations and appreciation to the Quinte Cricket Club, its organizers, volunteers, sponsors, players, and supporters. Their dedication and hard work have helped build the connections between cultures, promote healthy recreation, and showcase Belleville as a vibrant and welcoming city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Sue. Announcements? Seeing none, I've got a couple of proclamations. June 11th as Lipidemia Awareness Day. June 19th is World Sickle Cell Awareness Day. June 18th is World Kidney Cancer Awareness Day. And June as Stroke Awareness Month. I need a confirmation bylaw, the bylaw number 2026-083, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council meeting held on June 8, 2026, be read and passed. Moved by Councilor Mike Miller, second by Councilor Chatton. Discussion, all in favor? Carried. I need a motion to adjourn at 4:55. Moved by Councilor Carr, seconded by Councilor Thompson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.